Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
All right.
This is episode 18
Yep.
of Wicked.
Mysterious.
I'm your host, Danie.
I'm Katie. Oh,
That's all right.
It felt unnatural, but that's fine.
It did.
It did.
You're the leader today.
I am.
The leader of the day.
Follow me.
Yay. So,
Katie Mysterious.
I have news.
What is it?
I think my house is haunted.
Was it just the la la meow?
No. A lot of times I blame noises on her because it's easier. Mm-hmm. But
no.
Mm-mm. So there's been some weird shit going on.
Mm-hmm. And you're doing like home renovation stuff.
So yes, we are moving a lot of things around.
Mm-hmm.
And now the old living room is empty. Except for a big giant vase, which I think is a person every time I walk by it. And I feel eerie, like somebody's watching me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was sitting in the new living room the other day, and I heard a whisper, and it freaked me out. And when I stood up to run outside without my shoes on because I was so scared,
dude,
I had like chills up my neck. And that's never happened to me
when
before.
you like told me how it sounded, same. I was like, that's creepy.
And then last night we were outside and a light in the upstairs bedroom went off when we were looking at the window.
So creepy. All this really kind of started when you got rid of that piano, right?
Yes. So I had this old piano in my house that came with the house. It was just an old upright piano.
Yeah.
And it came with the house and and it was just yucky and we had to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, I don't know what it is. Yeah. My house has always been kind of spooky, but like I've never had any bad feelings. Not that I do now, but
yeah, that was creepy, and I'm sure it's kind of hard to just forget that happened.
Yeah,
when you hear like a man's voice.
Yes,
very creepy.
It was very scary.
Yeah.
So anyway,
sorry about that.
Yeah. Thanks, house. A guy did die here, so I always wonder.
Very possible.
Anyway, I have an episode for you today.
I'm excited to know what it is. I'm dying to know what it is.
The Bennington Triangle.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this episode was supposed to be about the Glastonbury Wilderness. Remember I sent you that Facebook video the other day?
I didn't watch it, but yeah, sorry about that.
It was just a creepy forest, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then I started researching it, and then I remembered the bigger mystery called the Bennington Triangle.
Cool.
So this triangle has very similar characteristics to the Bridgewater Triangle, which is local to us. Mm-hmm. And we are going to cover at some point because it's going to be lengthy.
Yeah.
And probably a multi-part series.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
The Bennington Triangle is located in southwestern Vermont around Glastonbury Mountain. The towns around this mountain are two ghost towns called Glastonbury and Somerset, as well as current towns called Shaftesbury, Woodford, and Bennington.
Okay.
Woodford.
Woodford. Okay.
The towns in this area were being fought over by New Hampshire and New York. So the New Hampshire governor, Benning Wentworth, drew lines across a map without worrying about the landscape or the fact that there was a giant mountain in the way. Then Vermont broke away from New Hampshire, Quebec, and New York in 1777.
Okay.
And I thought that was super cool because Vermont at the time believed in anarchy. And so they broke away from all the surrounding states. It was like 28 towns in Vermont came together to form Vermont.
I love that. And I also love that, like, even still today, I feel like those states are like more anarchy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, they do whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly.
I would move to Vermont if I was going to move somewhere
that
wasn't
opposite
warm.
of you. I go total opposite. Well, yeah.
If Vermont was warm, I would have already moved.
Seriously. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. I had a friend that lived up there. My best friend in high school married a girl who was from Vermont. Mm-hmm. And
it's just such a clean air, and it's so different.
And Burlington is beautiful. It's so nice.
Is it?
Anyway, the ghost town of Glastonbury is located in the heart of the Green Mountain National Forest. It was made up of 2 settlements, Fayetteville and Bickford Hollow. Bickford Hollow is accessible through the town of Bennington, but the ruins of the settlement are only accessible by foot and a somewhat difficult hike. It's located just off the Appalachian Trail Long Trail. In 1872, the construction of a railroad that went up the mountainside began. These 2 settlements were the site of 2 murders in the late 1800s. This was just the start of the bad luck and eventual decline of Glastonbury. Soon, all the mature trees had been cut down to support the town's logging business, so the town remarketed itself as a resort town, transforming the mill workers' lodging into a hotel and casino. Within 1 year, a flood destroyed what was left of the town. If they had not overlogged the mountain, there would have been trees left to help stop the flood coming down. At this point, the population dwindled rapidly. The population only ever reached a peak of 241 people in 1880 anyway. Glastonbury only has 8 residents currently. These towns were eventually unincorporated because of their lack of residents. So the stories of Glastonbury Mountain go way back. Native American residents would not go near the mountain. They said that somewhere on the mountain, there's an enchanted stone that will open up and swallow people whole. They believed that the 4 winds met on the mountain and that it was cursed. The weather and wind patterns are all over the place, causing plants to grow at odd angles on the mountain due to the weather and wind patterns being crazy. The weather changes so rapidly and erratically that it's very easy to lose your bearings when you're out hiking.
I bet. With that altitude and...
One of the first documented bizarre occurrences was in the early 1800s. A stagecoach of passengers was passing by the mountain and had to stop when the road ahead had been washed away by flood. The passengers disembarked to figure out how to get the stagecoach moving again when the driver noticed large, non-human footprints in the mud. Just as he went to point them out to the rest of the passengers, everyone witnessed a large ape-like creature pound on the side of the stagecoach, overturning it before letting out a growl and retreating back into the woods.
That's my man Sasky right there.
This gave rise to the Bennington monster, described as being 8 feet tall and covered head to toe in hair.
Okay, so it's a Bennington monster, but they don't consider it Sasquatch?
They do.
Oh, okay, but it's just labeled as that. Got it.
The passengers recalled the monster having giant eyes.
Crazy. Creepy.
The first murder occurred in Fayetteville in 1892 when a man named John Crowley was bashed in the head with a piece of firewood by Henry McDowell. Both men worked at the sawmill and had an argument after a night of drinking. McDowell fled to Connecticut, where he turned himself in, and upon making a full confession, stated that the voices in his head wouldn't leave him alone. He was sentenced to a state asylum in Waterbury, Connecticut, where he eventually escaped by hiding behind coal in a railroad car.
Okay.
McDowell was never seen again, which started the urban legend that he may have returned to the Glastonbury area. And then, 5 years later...
He grew a ton of hair and big eyeballs and... Just kidding.
Well, there's also a wild man that we'll talk about.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. In 1897, 5 years later, a prominent Woodford resident named John Harbour went out deer hunting in Bickford Hollow. He was accompanied by his brother and friend. They heard a gunshot, and Harbour screamed, "I've been shot." They searched for him all night, but it took them till the next day to find his body. He was laying underneath a tree with his loaded gun next to him. They were shocked to realize that his body had been dragged several yards from the location where he was shot. This murder went unsolved.
Wow. Like they didn't want him to be found.
Yeah, he was like found under a tree.
Wow.
And then the disappearances started. On November 12th, 1945, 75-year-old Mitty Rivers went missing. He was an experienced outdoorsman. At the time of his disappearance, he was hiking on Long Trail as a guide for 4 hikers. They got to a fork in the path, and Rivers told his son-in-law that he'd meet him back at camp at lunchtime, but at 3 p.m., with no word from him, the hunters began searching before eventually calling the authorities. The only thing ever found was a shotgun cartridge in a river, leading to speculation that he fell in. He was never seen again. On December 1st, 1946, college sophomore Paula Weldon was hiking again on Long Trail. Prior to and during her hike, she'd been seen by numerous witnesses. She was last seen by an elderly couple who was also hiking the same trail. They saw her turn a corner and disappear. Weldon was not wearing a coat when she left for the hike, and that night the temperatures dropped to 9 degrees. The FBI was called in and conducted a search, and a $5,000 reward was offered, but no trace of her was ever found.
Wow, and the FBI being called in too. Wow.
$5,000, I don't know how much that was back then, but that's a lot of money.
That sounds like a lot back then. A lot. Yeah.
On December 1st, 1949, 3 years exactly after Paula Weldon's disappearance, a veteran named James Tedford disappeared. He was a resident at a veteran's home in Bennington and was last seen on a bus heading home from a visit with his family. The bus's last stop was in Bennington, and no one saw him depart the bus. His luggage was never retrieved from the luggage rack, and he never arrived home. All that was left was an open bus times table on his seat.
Oh, okay.
The times
like
that
a
all the
log.
bus leaves
I see.
and arrives
I see what you're
at
saying.
each stop.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. Times table multiplication.
Yeah, that's what they called it.
I mean, I have kids. This is what I'm thinking when you're saying times tables.
He was practicing math on the bus.
Yeah, that's, hey, smart.
So he was on the bus heading home. People saw him on the bus, but nobody saw him get off. And then at the last stop, which was his stop, he never got off the bus and his luggage was left. And he was never seen again.
That's crazy. That's very weird. Because you're on a bus. It's not like you're going out a door.
Right.
I mean, yeah. And you're not going to get off on a stop before your stop and not take your luggage.
Right.
Like if his luggage was gone.
Unless he went to the bathroom, but then he was just never seen again.
Right. Small, like unless it was something to do with the triangle or somebody that's, working for the company. That's what I first think too. Like
flushed him down the toilet. On October 12th, 1950, 8-year-old Paul Jepson disappeared from a truck where his mother left him while she was tending to the family's pigs. She was only gone a half hour. Jepson was wearing a red jacket, and despite an extensive search and his brightly colored jacket, he was never seen again. Urban legend says that bloodhounds tracked Jepson's scent to the area where Weldon, the college student, disappeared.
Wow.
I read that Weldon was not wearing a coat, but other sources say she was wearing a red coat, just like Paul Jepson's.
Weird.
Giving birth to a new superstition that you should not wear red in the Glastonbury wilderness.
That's what I just thought in my head. Like, I would not be wearing red into that forest.
I got the creepy feels.
Or maybe it's the Sasquatch and he's attracted to the color red.
Maybe.
And he sees it good,
Like
from far away.
See The Village?
Oh, I love that movie.
Me too. You're like the only other person who likes it.
I love that movie.
Every time I say that, people make fun of me.
And I just saw the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
You like to read, right?
Yeah, I haven't read in a long time. I've never been like a book nerd where I've indulged in books like crazy. But, I mean, I've read some books and I've enjoyed it.
You read... you saw a new M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yeah,
what was it?
I did. I saw that new one that was just recently in theaters, maybe still is, that like Knock at the Cabin. I didn't even watch the trailer.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed. The Village was definitely, he has had some really good movies, but The Village was one of those.
When I was a kid, one of my favorite books, I'll let you borrow it. You could probably read it in one night because it's like a young adult novel. It's called Running Through Time. And it's about a girl who lives, I don't want to give it away for you, but it's very, very similar to The Village. So when I saw The Village, I was like, oh, he stole that. Right. And I Googled it, and the publisher sued M. Night Shyamalan for stealing the plot of the book.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
It's different than but it's pretty much the same.
Right. the idea is the same.
Yeah, I'll give it
So
to you. It's a good, if you want to read it. It's really good. It's called Running Through Time.
that's really good.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here. Sorry.
I know. No, that's okay. I also love M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. Like I said, he's had some horrible movies, but he's had some really good ones.
Yeah, everybody
Because he did Signs, right?
He did Signs.
And that was such a good movie.
That was a good movie. Oh my God, that scene where the alien shows up at the kid's birthday
I can't recall
bugs
right
me
now.
out. They show it like as a news clip, and he's like walking around the corner, and all the kids start screaming.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that right now. I should probably watch it again. But it was a really good movie. I know that.
That scene replays in my head a lot.
Trauma.
Scares me. I know. I'm such a wimp. I can't.
We should talk about, like, every episode something.
Something that scares me.
We'll call it Danie's trauma.
Yeah. All the things I'm afraid of.
Little segments dedicated to it.
I also, what else? I liked Devil by M. Night Shyamalan, the movie with the elevator.
I don't know if that's, I don't know that movie, but did M. Night Shyamalan do the one with the visit? Or no? With the kids that go to visit their grandparents?
Sounds familiar.
My gosh, that movie was so good. I seen it in theaters. Of course, all the movies I see in theaters are better because it's loud and big and, why wouldn't you want to watch a movie like that for the first time? But
yes, it is M. Night Shyamalan.
that was such a good movie. Have you seen that movie?
No.
So creepy, dude. You have to. It's not the kind of scary that you don't like. It's just M. Night Shyamalan creepy and wicked, twisted. Like
Okay.
you got to watch it.
Another movie that I really liked by M. Night Shyamalan that everybody also hates was Lady in the Water. Did you ever see that one?
I think so, but I can't recall the details. I really don't.
I have it
a
on
good memory
DVD.
for
When
it.
are we going to have our movie night?
Well, we say this all the time.
I know. It's like our friendship has just been business.
We
and
just
it makes me so sad.
all we do is just talk about hanging out while we work together.
I know. We need to, though.
Yeah.
I like Lady in the Water a lot.
Can't think of it.
It's got Paul Giamatti in it, and he's like a landlord at an apartment complex, and there's a water nymph in the pool,
Oh no.
and it stars the girl from The Village in it.
Never seen it.
Everybody hates it except me, so
I'll have to look into it.
but it's a good one. And then Split was good too.
Oh, Split was good.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
seen that one also in theaters.
Yeah, I did
I'm
too.
always drawn to see his
Well,
movies in theaters.
next time we're gonna go together. Next M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Knock at the Cabin was. I'd give it a 2-star out of 5. I wasn't impressed at all. Yeah. It wasn't even.
And you
like
said you haven't seen Devil?
I might have. I just
People in
can't.
the elevator.
Maybe.
I have more trauma about that movie. There's a scene where the guy drops his toast on the ground and it falls butter side down. And he said that his mother said that means the devil is around. And lately, every time I drop something, it falls like not butter side down, but like face down. And I'm
really
always like,
thought you were gonna say like that you just dropped your toast face side down.
no, but yeah, I did recently.
Okay.
But yeah.
Toast.
Yeah. Or like something with something on it, like toast or
Like a cheese on a
cream
cracker.
cheese.
Like a canned cheese.
Ew.
I actually like, what's it called? I like
Cheese
it.
Whiz?
No, it's not called Cheese Whiz. Because I thought it was too, but it's not.
Cheese in a can?
It's the cheese in the can.
Do you watch
a certain
Thousand Pound
flavor I
Sisters?
like. And it's got to be name brand. But yeah, I do like it.
I don't know. I can't. It's probably good. I think I know what you're talking about because I used to like it, but
Yeah.
I used to like Velveeta and stuff, but I can't because it's so processed and it makes it yucky. I can't even eat American cheese because it tastes like ew.
I love cheeses.
I love all cheese except American.
Yeah. And I have to have like deli slices that are like from the deli, not like the prepackaged crap ones.
Yeah.
Because those are really gross.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't melt. Okay, how do we get here?
I don't. Anyway, it's getting late at night. We're old and we're tired.
We're so tired.
Katie went to a show last night and danced so hard she went deaf.
I
is what
dance.
I heard.
I didn't dance at all. I actually, for the first time, like didn't go into the front and get beaten up, but I still was sore somehow.
Yeah.
I was off to the side enjoying it, and I still was sore, but my ears were definitely ringing all night.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
Old.
so old. Okay,
I haven't been in the pit in so long.
it's not a place to be anymore.
Now that we're moms.
I said to
that
my
we're
friend, I was
old.
like, my ears are ringing, and he was like, they always did ring every show you ever went to, but now you just care about it. And I'm like, wow, So true. When I was young, I did not give an F if my ears were ringing, but now I'm bothered.
Yeah.
Like, severely bothered. Like, my hearing is gone.
And all that punk rock I used to listen to, I listen to it now and I'm like, oh, it's so fast. It's too much.
Pounding
Yeah.
in the head.
Yeah.
I know.
Crazy. Anyway.
Punk rock for life.
Yeah, for real. Pop punk for life. All the punk for life, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to the Bennington Triangle.
Sorry about that, guys. We hope you liked that.
Maybe I'll cut some of it out, maybe not.
Planned. Yeah.
So, October 12th, 1950, the 8-year-old boy went missing.
Yes.
2 weeks later, on October 28th, 1950, 53-year-old Frida Langer was hiking with her cousin when she slipped and fell into a stream. Having to return to her campsite to change her clothes, she told her cousin she'd meet back up with him, but she never came back. When her cousin went back to camp, they realized that Langer never arrived back to change clothes. This was the biggest search yet, using 300 volunteer searchers and helicopters. 6 months later, her body was found in a river 3 miles from her campsite, in an area that had already been searched.
And it wasn't like a connected river to where she went in? Because, like, you know, people...
It was probably the same river, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Either way, you know, it's hard because, like, there's so many accidents that can happen in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, yeah, you're found really far away, but there's also a stream in the river, probably, a flow.
Mm-hmm. No cause of death could be determined. And she was the only one who went missing whose body was found.
Interesting. So they couldn't say she drowned.
Nope.
Huh. Crazy.
Somerset, another point on the Bennington Triangle, only has a population of 2 year-round residents and is also located inside the National Forest, only accessible by Forest Service Road.
Wow.
In 1967, a wild man who lived in a cave would traverse to Somerset carrying a pistol, nude except for an old coat, and would expose himself to women before retreating back to his cave.
What?
Yeah. Bizarre.
Sounds like an insane place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 people are really fucking brave.
I know, and I think back then the population must have been higher because who is he exposing himself to now?
True.
Like if there's only 2 people.
If there's only 2 people, but maybe it was just those 2 people and they were just harassed.
Yeah, well, it also said that in Somerset there is like 24 people that live there only in the summer. They must have like RVs or who knows, tents or something. They're like campers, but they live there all summer. But year round is only 2 people.
Okay, gotcha. So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because who's going to run out naked in the snow?
I know. True.
Nobody.
True. Some people do.
Yeah, they do.
I've known some people to do
and
that.
ice baths and shit. It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, no thanks.
No, can't handle that.
No, too old.
Yeah, again.
In 2008, a professor at Bennington College, Robert Singley, took a trail he had taken many times before. On the way back to his car, the trail did not end where it was supposed to and instead kept going. A heavy fog rolled in, causing him to become more distressed. He went off path to start a fire and claims that every piece of kindling he picked up was an animal bone, not a stick. He eventually found his way out of the wilderness the next day and discovered that he was on the opposite side of the mountain from his car. And he knew this area well. He lives there and used this trail often.
Often, yeah.
And still, this happened.
Wow. I was going to say, I went into the woods with a bunch of friends as a kid and came out way, 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 way on the other side of another town, actually.
Yeah.
And it got dark, and we were thinking that we were going to have to sleep there. It was scary. It was very scary. We didn't have cell phones back then.
It's crazy how lost you can get, even when you know the area.
Right, because that's what I was going to say. We kind of knew the area, but somehow we just took a wrong turn, and that's all it takes. You're just going in a direction, and it gets dark. But he knew this, totally was well versed with this trail, so that's where the question comes, like how.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my grandmother's backyard backed up to the town reservoir, but I mean not immediately. It was a long walk, so we went for a walk out there once and got lost, and like we found our way to the reservoir, and then on the way back we couldn't find her house, and we came out like up the street in somebody's yard. Like, I'll never forget that.
Same woods I got lost in.
Yeah.
Same woods, right? Because from
No. This was close to Boston.
Because when you said town, I was thinking this town. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't know why. Okay.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
And then another time, my mom, I wonder if she remembers this. Our mom took us to like a drum circle, like a Wampanoag drum circle, and it was paved. It was a paved path through the woods, and we got lost, and I thought we were gonna die. Like we were walking for so long. And we still were lost.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It's crazy.
Yeah, with your kids too, especially.
Yeah, my brother was in the stroller.
Oh my gosh, your mother must have been freaking out. Jeez.
Oh, my poor mom.
She was never doing that shit again.
No, I know. And I hike too. I hike the Appalachian Trail, so I don't think I would go through these woods because you know how freaked out I get.
Oh my God, yeah.
With our woods.
Yeah.
In Freetown, the Freetown State Forest, which again, that's for non-local listeners, is part of the Bridgewater Triangle, and it's scary AF. When we went in there, I was like bugging out. Remember that?
Yeah, you were like, I'm ready to go. Yeah. I'm like, but we're just starting. Like it wasn't just starting, but we were.
We were just starting.
Yeah.
I was ready to go before we even got there.
Just like creepy vibes.
Yeah.
Creepy vibes. And I'm like, yeah, because there's probably somebody watching us right now.
I know. It's so creepy out there. And that's another thing about these woods in particular, the Glastonbury Wilderness. People were saying, like the video I sent you, there was a lot of comments that were like, it's just creepy. Like it just feels creepy in there.
Yeah. They get that feeling.
Yeah. So it's reported that there have been between 30 and 40 disappearances within the Bennington Triangle. However, I could only find the 5 mentioned before through my light researching.
Okay.
I was not able to find any first-hand UFO sighting accounts, but every single website or article dedicated to the Bennington Triangle will mention them.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it would be weird if there was a triangle without UFO sightings.
Yeah.
You know?
So I went on the National UFO Reporting Center website.
Yep.
Where you can search for reported UFO sightings by state.
So cool.
It is.
I never reported my sighting.
Do it.
It's too late now. I don't know when the hell it happened already, you know?
Yeah. In the past 10 years, the town of Bennington has only had 4 reported sightings. Only 1 in Shaftesbury, 0 in Somerset, and 0 in Glastonbury. However, there's an extremely small population in this area.
True.
So who are the people that are saying they've seen these sightings?
True.
Then again, the Appalachian Trail goes through this area. Are the people who have reported to see these sightings, are they hikers?
Yeah.
And if so, why are they not reporting them to the UFO Reporting Center?
I mean, maybe not everybody's thinking that right away, you know?
The Appalachian Trail sees hundreds, well, I'd say probably thousands of hikers every year.
Absolutely.
And a lot of them being through hikers that do the whole Appalachian Trail, and some of them are section hikers, like myself, who just do little sections here and there.
Yeah.
And I will not be going in this area.
I know. If there's a triangle, I'm staying away. I don't even want to fly over it.
I know.
F that.
Why take the chance?
Yeah.
I found the same with sightings of the Bigfoot / monster. Every site will mention it, but I can't find any articles of eyewitnesses, no firsthand stories, not even on Reddit.
Interesting. That's kind of weird, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the only thing I did read was the eerie feeling people get in their refusal to step in the wilderness.
So yeah, it makes you wonder, like, why is there no documentation of any of these stories from anybody?
Well, I read something interesting that said throughout time, the stories change.
Right.
Like,
yeah, like telephone.
Depending on the time. No, like, so it starts off about the murders and then the people missing, and then, like, whatever's popular at the time, people will start saying they've seen. So, like, yeah, the first sighting of the Bigfoot guy was in, like, the 1800s, but, like, people will start mentioning the Bigfoot thing when Bigfoot becomes a popular topic in the media. Or, like, UFOs.
Yeah, like, because it's bringing out people's courage to say they've seen it or something, because they don't think they're alone anymore.
But there's no, like, UFO sightings in, like, the 1800s. Maybe there is. I couldn't find anything that said that. I think the Bridgewater Triangle is way more documented because they have, like, a lot of news articles about UFOs in Bridgewater.
Yeah,
From like
that's
the
true.
early 1900s. And
Yeah, that's a good point.
so I couldn't find anything. I searched, like, you know how you
Right.
can click news in Google? I couldn't find anything at all.
Right.
It's just one of those weird things. So
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe
know.
even reports go missing in the triangle.
Maybe.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I like my music.
And I wonder, like, if some of these, like, areas are, like, dimension slips, like we talked about before.
Absolutely. That's really what I think. Like, I think in every triangle, there's like an opening, like a portal, like a whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it.
Yeah, I tried to watch the Skinwalker Ranch documentary on Netflix. It's like a docuseries. It's boring AF.
Yeah.
I wish they were good, but I don't like investigation shows like that where they're just showing equipment going crazy and then they
Yeah.
don't.
And their face, like, real quick.
my
And,
God,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like
It
on
was
the
really
same.
boring.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing, like same information. Like there's a monster, there's a UFO, there's like weird shit happening left and right. So it's so much like other areas that are weird that it makes you wonder, like, is there something that like opens and swallows people? Like the Native Americans said, maybe not a rock, but maybe like a hole.
A hole or a staircase.
Oh yeah.
And you just walk to the top and that's it. Now you're in another dimension.
One of our listeners recommended that, but I couldn't find solid information to like report on about it.
Yeah, I guess just like maybe talking about how many there are and like their different locations and, you know, that's interesting. But yeah.
It was more like almost urban legend. Like they talk about the idea of it, but I couldn't find a whole. I'm sure there's some websites that have like, oh, here's the location of one of them, but
Right.
there wasn't a lot.
Like an exact location for them. Yeah.
There wasn't a lot.
Yeah, you'd think they would because then I feel like people would want to travel to see those staircases.
Yeah, and find out. Like tie
I
a
wouldn't
rope
walk
to my
it.
waist.
I would not walk it. Hell no, I would not walk up one of those staircases.
No, I wouldn't either. But if I had a rope tied to my waist,
Nope. Nope, that rope's
You
going to
wouldn't
go
pull
with
me
you.
out?
No, because I would go with you probably if I was
Yeah?
trying to pull you down. Hell
Oh
no.
man,
Yeah. That's bad.
Yeah.
One of us has to stay here and tell the tale.
that's true. So you're gonna send me in?
Yeah, if you're going up there with a rope, good luck.
Can you stop looking over my shoulder? It's really freaking me out.
I don't want to tell you why.
Then don't tell me.
Okay.
My house is so scary.
It's not your shoulder though. It's like so it's not right behind you.
Great, cool, thanks.
You asked.
I don't know what's going on with my house, but my face just got hot and I got like a pit in my stomach because I'm bugged out.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why all of a sudden it would be like haunty in here. Like I said, it's always been creepy. It's an old house. Somebody died here.
Yeah.
But
you are doing different things. You got rid of something that was here for a long time when you got the house, right?
yeah, but the people that owned the house before me were only here 10 years.
But whatever
Something was stuck to it, or
like, yeah, because you don't know where that came from, right? So like they could have gotten that from something haunted.
it was gross and it was dirty.
Yeah, it was just old.
Yeah.
And it's just, so you had to get rid of it. But they say you can like say sorry.
I'm sorry.
And like do a sage and shit. And
Well,
like,
before I left my house, when I heard that voice, that whisper, fucking creepy.
Yeah.
I had to go out and I was like, you leave my animals alone or I'll fuck you up. And then I was like, maybe I shouldn't.
You shouldn't be so violent towards them, but be kind and say, this is my space and I'm sorry if you don't like the changes, but
But you'll like it when we're done because it's going to look beautiful.
Yes, and we can coexist as we always have in harmony and silence and not creepy voices in my ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was in another, like, I was sitting in my living room and I heard a voice, like, I don't know, a whisper in the laundry room right across the way, and it called the dog. It said
That's
the dog's
just
name.
so creepy, yeah. So creepy. Yeah.
Anyway.
That concludes this episode. No, really, are we done?
Yeah, we're done. I'm sorry this was all over the place.
Why? It wasn't all over the place. It's a triangle, so it kind of has to be.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. We started with the haunted.
Yeah.
We went down to Bennington.
Yep.
We went over to M. Night Shyamalan.
Then we went into M. Night. Yep,
Back.
exactly.
Yeah, back to the
And
haunted.
that cheese at one point.
Oh, yeah.
We went to
Yeah, your
cheese.
spray cheese.
Yeah. But
All right. On that note, thanks for listening.
stay mysterious.